Hello friends, today we're talking about vacation. Are you able to take one this summer? Do you have the funds saved? Are you going to go into debt for your vacation? Are you having to take a staycation just because you don't have the funds? This is the time for you to think seriously about your budget. Your budget should include all the bills that you have to pay every month, all of the bills that you have to pay every set of months, like every 3 months or 6 months or 12 months, and then all of the things that you want to save for. So the things that I suggest you save for are, number one, an emergency fund. You need to build that up to 90 days of income. That will cover your budget. Doesn't have to cover your savings. It just has to cover your budget. This is for an emergency if somebody loses a job and you need to still be able to make your bills. So you don't have to do savings during that time. That's the time you're out looking for a job. But 3 months, that's why you want to do that. Number two, and you can't get it there right away. I know that, you know that, but you haven't been having anything, so start. Number two, you need a holiday and Christmas budget. So like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, if there's money that needs to be spent during that time, maybe your groceries go up just a little bit during that time for Thanksgiving and Easter, for example, and Christmas, but also birthdays. So that's a second group, and that's for you to decide right now, based on your income, how much can you afford, what would be reasonable to give someone for Christmas, and who are these someones? If they're all your nieces and nephews and you've got a whole bunch of kids yourself, you shouldn't be doing that. I don't want to shit on you, but you just have to know this. These are facts. You need to talk to your other relatives and say, hey, I am not able to provide Christmas presents for everybody. I'm just going to be able to provide for my family. And maybe you guys can do a drawing if it's something that the family always does, something where you're only limited to a little bit of money to expend on outside of your family, and then even on the inside of your family. How much is reasonable? How old are your children? What you give them now is what they're going to expect in the future, only at a different level. If they're 3 and you're giving them $1,000 worth of Christmas presents, when they're 15, they're going to expect $5,000 worth of Christmas presents because their Christmas present value is going to go up and they're going to expect the same number of things. Does that make sense? So try to whittle that down now while they're small. Even if they're bigger, have a conversation about that and save exactly what you think you're going to be able to give them for Christmas and for their birthday. And I usually make that the same amount. Okay? So that is your idea. So you're going to divide that number by 12 in December, for example, for Christmas, and say, that's how much I need to save every single month. If it's a ridiculous number, then you're spending too much money during the holidays. Okay, the third thing you need is you need a vacation fund. That's for right now. That's why you can't do it right now. Maybe your card is all the way full, and that's a shame. That should be one of your regular bills to get that paid off and stop using it. If you can't leave it alone, then cut it up. Don't cancel it. It's bad for your credit, but cut it up. Don't use it. Don't save the number, and stop using that card. Get that card paid down. Paid off is ideal. All right. Doesn't mean you can't ever use it again, but once you learn how to really manage your money, then you can use your credit card instead of cash and pay it off every month. That's an advantage for you because you get most credit cards give you some kind of bonus back. I get a cash back bonus. Okay, so think about that later, but for right now, let's get that paid off. We don't want to use it for Christmas and vacation because we never get it paid off and you get deeper and deeper in debt. What you want to do is say, how much do I think we're going to spend on a nice vacation? Not a ridiculous vacation. If you can't afford it, then you don't go to Hawaii. If you can't afford it, then you don't go to Yellowstone. If you can't afford it, you don't go to St. Augustine, Florida. You just go to the lake and rent a little cabin or pitch a little tent. Whatever it is that falls into your budget, that's where you're going to be the happiest because you're not going to be overextending yourself. So how much is it going to cost for next year's vacation? Think about that right now. So if next year's vacation is $1,000, let's say $1,200 just for the ease of math, then you need to save $100 a month for vacation. If you can't save $100 per month for vacation, then you're spending too much on your vacation. If you can save $50 a month on vacation, then you have $600 for vacation. Maybe that means you may have to take a staycation or a one-night vacation and the rest of it staycation. That staycation with that $600 will provide you meals out and excursions right where you live. So think about that. How much can you afford to save with all the other things that are important as well? Paying all your bills every month, saving for an emergency fund, saving for Christmas, birthdays, and holidays, and saving for vacation. Okay? And then there's one more, and that's for something specific. Let's say that you want to buy a new car or a new used car, and you know how much it costs, then you want to start saving for that. If you think about how much your car is really worth on trade-in, or if you sold it yourself, how much more do you have to raise before you can get your car? That will keep you from going into debt. Now, sometimes you have to go into debt. If it's the only car you own and it's your transportation and the job is 30 minutes away, you may have to go into debt. Do not buy the most expensive car out there. Do not fall for the sales technique of extending it for so many months. Try to make it a reasonable amount that fits in your budget and that you can afford, and work on getting that car paid off. Okay? Because there's nothing more comfortable in life than to not owe anyone. I know that you'll have your house payment for a longer time, because that's the last thing you're going to pay off, but all these other things need to get paid off, and then you'll have the money to save to do the things you want to do in your life. Okay? All right, so right now you're feeling a little blue. You can't take the vacation you intend to take, or you've already committed and paid for the vacation and it's now on your credit card and you don't see how you're going to get that paid off and put Christmas on it again. So now is the time for you to focus on your budget. Your budget starts with how much money do we bring into our home every month or every year? And then you put how much do we spend every month and multiply that out. How much every year? You can do it by month or year. And then you might say, well, my husband's in sales and he always gets a bonus, or he gets sales plus commission. Then in that case, I'm going to suggest that you base it on his base salary, not his commission, because commissions go up and down. And that's your gravy. That's the area that you can save from if you need to. But you have to be able to pay your bills every single month, whether his commission comes in or not, or whether his bonus is canceled this year or not, okay? Or yours. All right, so that's what I want you to think about. See if you can refocus, recommit. Sometimes couples have a really, really, really difficult time of sitting down together and planning this out. Usually one or the other is in charge of the money. Oftentimes, that one person will make all these decisions on their own. Maybe you need to discuss it with your spouse, maybe not. Or maybe you're that couple who can pay your bills together. And that's very unusual, actually, I'll tell you right now. Okay, if there's a spender in the family, I always suggest that you have a household checking account for your bills, and then you have two separate spending accounts, one for you and one for your spouse. And that way, you have decided how much you can afford to have for spending money every month, and it goes into that account. And that's the one you take the money out of. Yours comes out of yours. If you're the spender and you spend it all, it's gone. If he's the spender and he spends it all, it's gone. If he's taking clients out for lunch and his business isn't reimbursing him for that, then you have to consider how much money is reasonable for him to have, because he has to be able to do that for lunch. So you're going to have to be fair about it. Yours won't be as big if you're an at-home homemaker. But the idea is that you have some money to get yourself a cold drink when you're out, or to grab a hamburger if you're starving and you're out, or anything like that, okay? All right, so that will keep you from having somebody spending too much out of the household account, and then you can't pay the bills. And I'm saying this as a banker, because I was a banker. My last career was as a banker, okay? All right, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you take it to heart. I hope that you're going to have some type of a good vacation this year, and I hope that you're looking forward to next year. Have a wonderful day, and always remember to be beautiful, because you are beautiful.